Rumors were swirling for weeks that companies like Google, Disney, and Salesforce were interested in buying Twitter. But now the social media company isn't getting any love. Salesforce looked most likely to make a bid, but on Friday, the company's CEO told the Financial Times it is walking away from a deal. CNN editor Brian Tong is in San Francisco, and he's going to help me understand why nobody wants Twitter. 300 million people use it. Why can't it sell?
Just because a lot of people use it doesn't mean that it actually makes money. That's been Twitter's biggest problem. The other issue is that Twitter hasn't really seen any growth, right? So you have this large audience. Some people use it daily. Majority of people casually check it in. I mean, there's a very engaged community over there, but it's not growing and they're not able to make money off of it. We've also seen how they're really pushing now for live streaming video, because video is really where they're going to attract some more of those advertising dollars and eyeballs. It's a super engagement type of platform, but they don't have ways to really generate large revenue streams, and that's one of their biggest issues, and that's why no one's really looking to actually purchase them.
So are they looking to be purchased because they're struggling, or they're looking to be purchased because they're out of ideas? Why does a company like Twitter want to get purchased?
Well, you know what? I think a lot of times when companies want to be acquired, sure, it's nice to be acquired, but it's really more strategic for these other companies. Now, when you hear things like, a company like Salesforce might be looking at them and others, but then they end up realizing they're not going to add much to their bottom line, it's showing how these social platforms that maybe were hot, let's say 3-4 years ago, may not be growing enough anymore, and then there's just no need to. They won't add much value to these actual companies' bottom lines.
And if you are a worker inside Twitter right now, or you're an executive inside Twitter right now, I've got to imagine that this yes, no, maybe thing with buyers has got to be troubling or affecting the company overall, in the same way that if a family was going to move to Detroit, or maybe not, or mom was going to remarry, or dad was, it's like this has got to be troubling and difficult for the overall performance of the company, no?
I think what it comes down to is a lot of times when companies are actually acquired, things change a little bit. But I've got to tell you, people that work over at Twitter, I just happened to be over at their headquarters just last week. They weren't even really talking about it. It's more business as usual, and you just wait and see when these things happen.
All right, they're playing it cool. On to another tech surprise caught our eye this week. A new car, the Opel Astra. We'll have to get a fact check on whether I pronounced that correctly. It's a car that you can start with your mind. The motor company is conveniently calling the experience Opel Mind. Again, no idea if Opel is the way you say it, but it debuted at the Paris Motor Show this week. Now, Brian, this is not a car that you see widely in America already, as you can tell by my inability to nail the pronunciation of it. Can you tell us a little bit about what this company is and how this device works?
Well, this is a General Motors company, so it's under kind of the larger General Motors, and what they're trying to do more than anything is show a tech demo that allows you to wear this like kind of headband type head mount. And we've actually seen this head mount used in other ways. Like in 2009, there was this game where you basically focus and concentrate really hard. It actually measures your brainwave activity, and it allowed you to levitate a ball and kind of navigate it through this kind of maze. Now, with this application, they're telling people to focus on something. They haven't actually told us exactly what the users have to think about, but when the brain activity is high enough, much like controlling a ball to float, this turns on the car. And again, this is not anything that we're going to see. I think quite honestly, it's more of kind of a fun little tech demo you see at these car shows to get people to talk about it like we are today. And so it's not anything that they said they're going to be incorporating into their car anytime soon.
And I got to say, the joke is on me. I do recognize the Opel. It's an American company, and I recognize the Z, the Zorro Z there. So anyway, well, we'll have to see what the thought is that magically starts the car and whether that starts sales here in the U.S. Moving on, one more topic. Finally, Mark Zuckerberg, he might be closer to fulfilling his goal of building a virtual assistant. He's calling it AI Jarvis, based off the virtual assistant in the Iron Man franchise. And now Iron Man himself is getting involved. On Thursday, the Facebook CEO posted, "It's time to give my AI Jarvis a voice. Who should I ask to do it?" And the actor Robert Downey Jr., who played Iron Man, if you recall, he responded by saying he'd do it in a heartbeat. All right, now this has gotten a lot of attention on social media. What do we actually know about Zuckerberg's virtual assistant so far?
So what Zuckerberg said about a year ago is that he was working on his own AI for his home and also something that would help him do his work more efficiently. And then he finally brought up the fact that he named it Jarvis, okay? This was a Facebook post like you're talking about. And then we know how actually like very involved Robert Downey Jr. tends to be on social media, especially when there's an opportunity to do something good for like a charity. So Downey Jr. is like, I'll be the AI voice. And then the trick of all this that really shows how this world of geekdom / pop culture / social media works is that Downey Jr. said he'd do the voice. Then he said that as long as you pay Paul Bettany is actually the actor in the Avengers movie series, but also the voice for Jarvis, the AI in Iron Man. And then Paul Bettany would have to use that money to donate to a charity for Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, which is a movie that's coming out in November. If you connect the dots, this is all like Marvel geekery, money goes to great cause, and then everyone talks about it like we're doing again.
Well, all right. Should we assume, given that Jarvis has a name and maybe a voice and maybe an actor involved, should we assume that it's going to be coming out soon? Or is this a bit like putting a title to a book you have yet to write a single word of?
I don't think we'll see this mainstream. Quite honestly, look, Mark Zuckerberg could hire anyone to be the voice of this AI. We don't even know how advanced it really is. It's not like Facebook is showing us anything like it. We know AI like from our phones and Google's Home Assistant, but really this is probably going to be a private thing that he's just going to pay a whole lot of money for and then just keep it as his own baby.
All right, Brian Tong from CNET, I appreciate you walking me through the complexities of tech today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.